Ladies and gentlemen, these riots will not exhaust themselves. Again, if you've been watching my appearances on cable news or if you're just seeing me here on the first time, I appreciate both of them. Thank you for watching our YouTube show as well. It means a lot. But I can't express to you in strong enough terms, in my over a decade in law enforcement, I'm not the be-all, end-all on this, but I did this most of my adult life before I wound up doing broadcasting. These riots will not exhaust themselves. This let them vent strategy is a disaster. They will roll downhill and gain steam unless we stop it now. The question is how and what do we do? Well, there are multiple things we can do. Number one, as I told you, the FBI needs to get involved right now and crush Antifa legally. They need to be perp walked. They need to be handcuffed and processed into federal prisons and tried immediately through the legal, orderly justice process, not through chaos. Secondly, we need to activate our National Guard everywhere. Don't wait. I don't care if you're in Cheyenne or if you're in downtown New York City. Most of them have been. You need your National Guard units activated immediately and on standby. Don't wait another second. Third, we need to use video. Major police departments need to start putting out video every day of these looters. They need to be identified and they need to know we're coming for them. They need to know they will be legally hunted down and processed, legally handcuffed and arrested through an orderly process. Every one of them. If you were on video walking in a store with a shopping cart and looting and walking out, know that the police department is coming to process you soon, to arrest you and prosecute you, and you will have to defend yourself. You have stolen from someone, you have contributed to the chaos, and you have committed a crime. Start getting those pictures out there today. These people need to be named and shamed and legally and orderly processed through our legal system. Systematically. We need to get control again. This permissive atmosphere of letting people walk down the streets with shopping carts of stolen items that don't belong to them has to stop now. We engage in that three-step process. We will start to get a lid on this tomorrow. Finally, we have to stop this let them vent nonsense. Andy McCarthy has a terrific piece in National Review. I disagree with some of his conclusions, but it's still a piece worth your time. It'll be in the show notes. We need to get a lid on this stat tonight, immediately, ASAP. National Review, Andy McCarthy. The president has the constitutional power to restore order. He must act. He echoes what I'm telling you now in this screenshot from the piece, that this will not exhaust itself. Quote, Andy McCarthy, progressive dogma notwithstanding, rioting spearheaded by radicals and anarchists does not exhaust itself if government just gives them the time and space to get their yayas out. Passivity, conveying the message that the laws will not be enforced, is provocative. It's not a sedative, folks. It increases the appetite for rioting and looting, which will only be satiated once the sociopaths have run out of things to burn and loot. That is correct. This will not stop unless we stop it. The perp walks need to start immediately. Federal, local, state law enforcement. Get them out of the paddy wagons and handcuffs and show the media what's being done. Send a message to their friends. You were not protesters. You hijacked what the protesters were doing. We are not going to let your communities burn anymore. This will not stop unless we stop it. Make no mistake. Don't miscalculate here. President should get in front of the camera tonight at the Oval Office, and I hope he does that. And if he can, lay out those 3 steps. Second part of Andy McCarthy's piece. Again, I disagree with some of the conclusions, but it's worth your time. Read it in our show notes today. While they serve their states, National Guard units, which are reserve components of the U.S. Armed Forces, have over time come under increasing control of the Commander-in-Chief. They may now be deployed at the president's discretion, even overseas, regardless of whether state governors object or not. Clearly, if the deployment is domestic and ordered in response to violent attacks, it's imperative that federal and state governments cooperate in the name of state and national security. To the governors out there, the mayors, I don't care about your politics anymore. I understand many of you blue state governors and rhinos out there hate this president. I'm not interested. I don't care. I have friends and loved ones in those blue states too. Thankfully, in Florida, we've had good leadership, a terrific sheriff, and a great governor. Great local police chief here too. This is not the time for political nonsense. Get your National Guards mobilized and ready today. If I may respectfully make a recommendation, keep your police officers on the front line. Use your National Guard units in a support role. Obviously, if it gets out of hand, that may go out the window. But as long as you can, keep your police officers the face of your communities out there on the front line. Why? Well, that relates to a point I brought up earlier. I'm seeing a lot of traffic on Twitter, social media platforms, Facebook, and elsewhere, and I understand the anxiety. People want the military mobilized domestically. Ladies and gentlemen, that's an enormous, catastrophic, strategic mistake. The military are trained for war and combat, military police otherwise. Now, under the Insurrection Act, we can do that. We should not. The local police know what they're doing, and they have to take, the handcuffs have to come off them. Political leaders have to stand up and let the police do the crowd control they know how to do before it turns into riot control in a triage situation, with the National Guard in a support role. The U.S. military on our streets, this is a trap. Please take to heart what I'm telling you. Some, not all, of these liberal political leaders do not have your best interests in mind. This has become about politics for them. There's nothing they would like to see more than our military be in their front lines, abdicating the role of the police departments they represent so they can pass off the responsibility for an incident onto President Trump and take it off them. That is a strategic, catastrophic mistake of the highest order. Unless you have lost your city, the local police departments, the local faces in that community have to be the ones to stop it. I'm not kidding. This is a trap. Don't fall into it. Police departments and the Guard know what to do. They have to let them do it. Mounted units, motorcycles, quads, snow fencing. Let the peaceful protesters do and exercise their God-given constitutional authority. When it's not peaceful anymore, that's over. You have an order to disperse, or they will have to disperse you. I am very sorry this happened. But we have to save our cities, or you're not going to have a country left. Showing you again how these leftist anarchists in the media are hell-bent on adding fuel to this fire. Not all, but sadly many. Only here to disrupt and make this problem worse. Here's News 18. Tough guy, Donald Trump taking shelter in the White House bunker during protests, has Twitter in disbelief. News18.com. Ladies and gentlemen, having spent 12 years of my life in a professional role with the United States Secret Service, the president doesn't make the call to go to the bunker. The Secret Service does. The president didn't waltz into the bunker because the president of the United States was scared. The president of the United States was evacuated into the bunker because the Secret Service has to keep the one man who occupies the one branch of our government occupied by one person. The Congress is 535 people. The Supreme Court is 9. The presidency of the United States is occupied by one man. He must stay alive and safe no matter what. The Secret Service is not interested in any of your political nonsense or your media messaging. The media is doing this to politically damage President Trump in a time of national crisis to make him look weak, not to tell you the truth. The president doesn't decide to go to the bunker. By the way, I'm not even sure the story's true. I'm simply suggesting you, even if it is, it's not his call. It's the Secret Service, and thank God they make that call. What do you want them to do? Wait for the place to burn down? Another false media narrative. There's no story for this. I saw it on Twitter, trending all over. So story number one was he's hiding in the bunker. He's not hiding from anything. That's false. The second story is the lights went out at the White House. They are out. The lights are out, some of them at the White House at night. Of course, media people, again, eager to throw an M80 firecracker into a thing of kerosene and blow your cities up with them, some of these media morons. The president's scared. They shut the lights out. I've never seen this. Look at this, hiding in the darkness. The president's not hiding in the darkness. And let me be crystal clear in case you're under any, again, strategic miscalculation that you're going to storm the White House. The Secret Service owns the darkness. They own it. That's why the lights are out. If you don't know what I mean, don't try to figure it out the hard way. Police officers and your military soldiers out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those lights are out for a reason. Don't make it worse and try to find out why. Big mistake. Consider that my public service announcement. Believe it or not, it gets worse. Of course, there's never been a time in American history where the media has proved how feckless, useless, and dangerous they are than right now. There's an American side and the side that the leftists, many in the media, again, not all, and celebrities, again, many, not all, have chosen. This is not the Babylon Bee or the Onion. I wish it were. This is an actual article in the Washington Times. Some celebrities have chosen this opportunity to, yes, organize to bail out the people burning your neighborhoods down, attacking your citizens, and destroying everything you worked for. Not a joke. Valerie Richardson, Washington Times. Again, this will be in the show notes today for you to read yourself. Celebrities blasted for donating to protester bail fund as rioting and violence escalate. You can read the names of some of these celebrities in that piece in the Washington Times. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't support boycotts. I never did, but I am begging you right now to please do the right thing. Commit those names to memory and never, ever, ever again donate another dollar of your entertainment dollars in your family budget to these absolute lunatics who are bailing out the people that are burning down our cities and destroying our country. I am begging you with everything, every single fiber of my soul, every red blood cell I've got, please remember those names and don't ever contribute another dollar to their success again. In our time of need, these people have abandoned us. Donating to bail out Antifa losers, rioters, and looters who are literally burning your city to the ground. They don't care. They've got gated mansions and armed guards. And make no mistake, some of those armed guards, to you Antifa folks, would shoot you dead if you jumped that fence. You think they're your allies? These are out-of-touch elitist snobs. Share nothing in common with you. I want to repeat this one last time, too. This Antifa designation as a terror group by President Trump will be fought vigorously by the hard left, folks. I'm calling it right now. You can mark this show today. Those are their frontline troops for civil disturbance. They are used for a reason, to create chaos which they can leverage into political advantage. Politics is the exercise of power. That is their power. They will fight this designation and the arrest of these people. And this is now the fight. President Trump's presidency has been reinvented, whether he likes it or not. This is now the fight going forward. Shut this down tonight.